Zelda is no stranger to scary elements. Arguably, that's what makes some titles so memorable. Ocarina of Time's Bottom of the Well and Shadow Temple, Wind Waker's Earth Temple and the Ghost Ship, Twilight Princess's Arbiter's Grounds, and generally Twilight-related items and characters, and so much more. But in an attempt to do something different within the franchise, I've been thinking about what a horror Zelda game could look like. Most likely something akin to Luigi's Mansion, but personally, I'd rather see something a little darker. One of the series I looked at for inspiration was Silent Hill. Go figure. Imagine combining elements from Zelda and Silent Hill. Do you see a successful scare or a disappointing adventure? Most Silent Hill games revolve around average Joes being forced into terrifying situations, either due to pure chance or personal guiding force. In every iteration, Link has been presented as a very competent and brave fighter, which clashes with the Silent Hill formula. If done wrong, you might find yourself making something closer to Homecoming. You could play as a different character from the franchise, not unlike Echoes of Wisdom, where Princess Zelda plays far differently. However, I'm sure most of us would prefer to play as the hero of legend, so let's see if we can make the gameplay work. My idea is that this game would play similar to Silent Hill F, with various weapons to wield and limited durability. And like a lot of Zelda games, and Souls games, you would have to watch your stamina so that you don't get caught between a rock and a hard place. So while Link is skilled in combat, he can still find himself in danger if he's reckless. You have limited space in your inventory, so you may need to discard items to make room. Key items and maps have their own section, so don't worry about those. Once a key item has been used, it will automatically disappear. If it stays in your pouch, it may have other uses. Just like Silent Hill, this game will involve psychological elements. It was at least implied in Twilight Princess that Link had a dark side, which will be used against him, as well as featuring fantasy horror in the form of monsters and dungeons. Half the time, Link's mind will be playing tricks on him, while the other half the time, he experiences things that are actually there, unable to tell the difference. As for the tone, I'm imagining something akin to Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess. I prefer the latter since it takes itself a little more seriously, but Nintendo would probably go for the former. Now, who am I kidding? They're not going to watch this video. The narrative will put an emphasis on the darker history of Hyrule and the sins of the past, a nod to the Shadow Temple spirits referencing their bloody history of greed and hatred. To achieve this, Link will be transported to a different dark world, a place in between dimensions that represents the darkest time in Hyrule's history. For the most part, places will actually look normal and clean, unlike Silent Hill, albeit still seemingly abandoned. At a point, Link meets a handful of people who are also trapped in this world due to their sins. Perhaps an average citizen, or the king himself. But for the most part, the enemies are a manifestation of all the people who contributed to the evil or stayed complicit. There will be no mention of Ganondorf, and no Triforce powers. At least not until the end. So far, this is sounding a lot like another Silent Hill game with a Zelda skin, which may sound like a great idea, or a terrible one, depending on who's watching. Be sure to tell me your thoughts and share your own ideas.